What's up, fuckers? It's tea time. Jesus, take the wheels. Greg Abbott is rapidly exceeding the level of my patience. Greg thinks he's serving as governor, but he's actually just serving as a backstabbing bill-signing boy bitch. All he does is sit around and sign bills. And I can only assume he never gets laid based on how bitter and bitchy he's gotten. No one wants to fuck a Republican. I'm sure the last time he got a piece of ass was when his hand slipped through the toilet paper. I'm guessing single ply, based on how greedy and cheap he is. Look at our power grid. Winter is coming, and the power grid is still operating like Gregory Wayne's brain. It's faulty, rolling blackouts. But signing bills must be how Greg gets off these days. He's become such a signature slut. He'll sign just about anything. And you know he's pretending that bill is moaning when he signs it. Oh, ink me, daddy, long strokes, yes, 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 yes. And then it's done. We've all been fucked. Oh, wow, 2 seconds. Right up there with 2 pump Trump. Oh, right. It's 1 pump Trump. That's even better for you, Greg. Now, Greg says he wants small government, but he's been awfully busy controlling women's bodies, public health policies in schools, when and how people vote, right down to dictating which songs are played at sporting events and what we should do when we hear them. Jesus, finger painting Christ, y'all better stand up. He'll alert the fucking church elders. Sounds like a government as small as a walrus dick to me. It's definitely a government where viruses have reproductive rights and women don't. Maybe Greg doesn't want vaccine mandates because he views them like a COVID abortion. We know how he loves to have control over nature's pocket, just as much as he loves controlling his own. Immediately after Greedy Greg started promoting Regeneron as COVID treatment, its stocks skyrocketed, about as high as my blood pressure under Abbott's authoritarianism. The more people refuse vaccines and seek Regeneron, the more money those shareholders can make. Gregory, are you a shareholder? Wouldn't put it past him, especially since Greg recently received $4.6 million in donations from oil, gas, and broader energy interests to keep that power grid the way it is. The more Texans suffer, the more money the Greg Reaper makes. We're his cash constituents, and it's going to stay that way because MAGA morons adore Greg Abbott. But now the party of small government who controls women's private parts is into controlling private platforms. The small and small government must stand for their character. Last year, Gregory said that businesses didn't need the state to tell them how to operate. That, of course, applied to face masks. You know, individuals should decide their best health practices, not the government. Unless you're a woman. But this year, he signed the Let Republicans Lie and Destroy the Country bill, also known as House Bill 20. This bill aims to stop social media companies from banning users or nixing posts based solely on political opinions. Gregory Wayne's telling social media companies with more than 50 million monthly users to disclose their content moderation policies and institute an appeals process. 50 million users, huh? Well, Trump's failed social media platforms certainly wouldn't have been affected by this bill. Greg claims that these tech giants like Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube are censoring conservative users and their conservative values. Christ on a stick. They aren't banning people because of their conservative values or political opinions. They're banning lies, misinformation, obstruction, inciting violence, and inviting death during a pandemic. Are those conservative values, Greg? But more on DeSantis already tried something like this in Florida back in January, shortly after Tangerine Palpatine was banished from the Twitter universe for encouraging the January 6th insurrection. I'd say that Ron and Greg were measuring dicks for doing stuff like this, but if that were the case, this tomfoolery would have ended a long time ago. There ain't much to measure. Industry groups that represent the big tech companies that were affected sued the state to overturn the law, claiming it violated those companies' First and 14th Amendment rights, and that content moderation was allowed under Section 230. Section 230 is a federal law that fucking literally allows online platforms to moderate user content how they see fit. Unfortunately for DeSantis, a judge said the law violated Section 230 and says no state may make a law that is inconsistent with it. Who would have fucking thought? Could you imagine? Looks like Republican Ron's rectal ramblings about censorship won't be successful, and I don't think the Greg Reapers will be either. Greedy Greg has all these big claims about liberty and freedom, but I don't think he has any understanding of the concept. I've also had a sneaking suspicion that Greg didn't know how to read. And after signing this bill, I think it proves he was unable to read the terms and conditions of the platforms he signed up for. I think Greg knows this won't hold up in court. It's just a toothless gesture to his gullible, toothless supporters. Under the state legislation in Texas, users can sue the platforms to get their accounts reinstated for holding them accountable to the constantly changing terms and conditions they signed up for. Greg must have some lawyer friends that need some cash. Honey bun, claiming conservative censorship is nothing but fear-mongering, and you know that. He also knows that freedom of speech protects the people from the government only. The Constitution doesn't give anybody the right to tweet. You can't claim to be pro-business rights with masks and vaccines, but then be against the rights of companies to exercise the freedoms their jurisdictions vehemently defend. Anyone can file a civil lawsuit against anything. Doesn't mean you'll win. And you can do that with or without this stupid bill. Gregory, the governor's mansion is for governors, so if you're going to act like a pile of shit, I'm going to need you to promptly relocate to the lawn. Nothing that he does or says makes any sense. The only thing he's really good at is being Caucasian and loud. I want everybody to have a great fucking day unless you don't vote out Governor White Noise.